Was that you?
Lord, no. It actually is my band leader and my road guitar player, which is probably something else that you guys may be unaware of, is the road musicians that play with us typically don't play on the albums. There's a whole different set of musicians in Nashville who play all the albums, and with the last album that we did, Off the Beaten Path, I started sprinkling in some of my own guys and some of this album as well. So maybe you do know that. I don't know, but do y'all know that? No, okay. Now you do.
There we go. Here, I got a question
There'll
for
be
you.
a useless trivia question down the road.
So, a couple questions before we'll listen to a couple more one more song, and then we're gonna do some photos with you. But one of the questions that I have with you is, we were talking about backstage, is that you don't like to fly, and you'd prefer to be on the bus instead. Yeah. So when you are on the bus, what's your best escape? I mean, what do you set up the DVR, and then what are you into right now? The Bachelor, The People versus OJ, Making of a Murderer.
My wife has gotten me into the OJ thing. We don't really watch TV. If we do, it's on a Disney Channel.
Right.
I'm way into politics and news stuff. I mean, I just enjoy the whole thing, and I don't know. I like to watch things that make me, not that politics does, but I like to watch things that make me more informed and more intelligent instead of housewife crap.
Sure.
And
maybe that's my problem.
Yeah. So
I'm into the Real Housewives of Orange County and all that stuff.
My wife, that's the only time my wife and I ever fight. I go, don't put that on my television ever again. It's like the real, everywhere. The Housewives of everywhere. I don't care to hear these cackling hens fighting no more on my TV.
It's worse than the Kardashians.
Oh, they're the worst.
It's nuts. What's the one?
They're famous for being famous.
I know, right?
No talent.
No talent. They have a talent of taking selfies. That's it.
Apparently, yeah.
It's crazy.
So,
what's the one thing you cannot live without?
I mean, it sounds cliche, but my family. You know, my wife and kids, and you know, that's really, at the end of the day, if I have everything else or nothing else, excuse me, and I have them, then I'll be happy. I heard a really good quote the other day from, I forget where I heard it, but it was really poignant. I'm not as good a one as I want to be, but I am a Christian, and I'm proud to be one. And I heard somebody say the other day that the only thing you take to heaven with you is relationships. I thought, that's a pretty good quote. So with that in mind, my family.
Sure. Cool. Okay. Anyone else? Any questions? Got time for about one more. Go for it.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a two-part question.
Okay.
I want to know what your favorite song is that you've ever recorded, and then your favorite song coming off your future album.
It's kind of like picking between your kids. It's tough, but except my middle daughter, I would give her to one of y'all on just about any given day. I really wouldn't, but she's a mess.
Justin, there's a camera up there, and we're on Skype, so you want to rephrase that?
Oh, goodness gracious. You didn't tell me we were on Skype. I love Luke Bryan.
That's your middle child?
I wish I could retire if he was my middle child. No, my middle one is just the nut. She's the nut of the. I mean, she just never know what she's going to say in front of anyone at any time. She's a middle child, but love her to death. Poor thing looks just like me. But the first part of your question was my favorite song that I've ever recorded. My favorite song that I've ever recorded and my favorite song that I've ever written was the title track of our second album, which was Outlaws Like Me. And it was probably the most country album we've recorded, and I was really, really proud of that album. And I'll give you a brief synopsis as to why that's my favorite song. I said I grew up in a town of 300 people, and, you know, I was, I guess, popular, but, I mean, there's a difference in being popular in a town of 300 people in high school because you play baseball and basketball, and getting a little bit of fame, making a little bit of money, and having basically the world at your feet and people doing everything for you. I mean, I couldn't even make my own coffee. People here, and it sounds kind of funny, but I think each of us, none of us were born to do this. I mean, we just are normal people who have really cool jobs. I mean, that's just the honest to God truth. So if you think people were born to do this or anointed the ones, God's got a plan, I guess, or I believe, and I'm supposed to be doing this for whatever reason, but it's very difficult. I've always said this, it's harder for me anyway, and I think a lot of people, it's harder to navigate success than it is failure at times. And I became a person I didn't want to be. I drank too much and partied too much, and it was right after I had lost my grandpa, who's my hero. And 3 days after I lost my grandpa, I lost my aunt, who was like my second mom. And so in a 3-day stretch, I became a depressed alcoholic. And through writing that album, and in particular that song, my priorities that had gotten all out of whack because I thought I was invincible, my priorities kind of got back into order. And coincidentally, I happened to just have my first daughter at the same time. So, again, God's got a plan. He slapped me upside the head and said, dude, really? Come on. And so that song is basically what that story is. And it made me a better person, better Christian, better father, husband, etc. So that's my favorite song that I've ever recorded. And, boy, it'd be tough on this new album to pick one. I really, really like Hell on a Highway. I think it's a really cool tune. Something different for us. There's a song that, unfortunately, we don't have recorded yet that I love called Kinda Don't Care. It's one of the countryer songs we've ever gotten and been able to record. And so I'm excited about that one. I don't know if that's a very good answer, but that's the two songs that I really like on I like the whole album, or otherwise I wouldn't have recorded it. But anybody else? Yes, sir. Best outfit in the house, I'll just say.
We heard you sing the Travis Tritt song on Twitter.
Oh yeah, any more?
Yeah, and I was just wondering, when you were growing up with your buddies, starting to sing, was there any songs or artists you guys thought, like, man, we can nail that, and you like to sing a lot?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of touched on it earlier. I'm a really big fan of traditional country music. My favorite artist of all time is Dwight Yoakam, which our music is not even similar, really.
No.
But I just think he was like Elvis of country music to me. I thought he was cool. His pants were 3 sizes too small. Awesome boots.
The guy could work a guitar like nothing.
Yeah, he's just a great entertainer, great songwriter. I just thought he could do anything and everything. I'm a big fan of people who, no matter how hard any of us try to be like, will never be like them ever. John Anderson, Vern Gosdin, Earl Thomas Conley. There's some of those people out there that nobody will ever be like again, no matter how hard we try. So, those guys were my favorites. But I also grew up on Southern rock. Skinner, ZZ Top, Marshall Tucker Band, Allman Brothers, that kind of Doobie Brothers, that kind of stuff. I loved as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, ready for one more? Okay.
Good.
What's this one?
This one I got it. Did you have a question? Don't be shy. What's that? It is. Chop Chop. I love it. Yeah, I'm from the TBS generation. So for those of you who don't know what that is, it means we're old. Yeah, it really does. No, in Arkansas, you're either Cardinals or Braves because there's no team in Arkansas, no pro team in Arkansas. And so back in the 90s when Ted Turner had them, they were on TBS every day. It was that was the two teams you could watch every day. Actually, the Cubs were the other on WGN.
Sure.
And of course, I'm not going to be a Cubs fan. Come on. I'm from the South. Are you kidding me? And I like winning baseball. I don't
Yeah.
know, you know.
You guys had a pretty good run for a
So
while.
yeah, that was when they were really, really good. I could watch them every day, and so that's when I became a big Braves fan. And they were kind of the South's team,
Sure.
you know, back then. So, but I think I might have picked the wrong franchise because the Cardinals have won it like 8 times since then. So, but that's neither here nor there. But that's right, buddy. So we. Yeah, I was a fan of the Braves when they drafted Chipper Jones. That's how old I am. Now he's retired. I remember them drafting him. But
John Smoltz.
and Smoltz,
Yeah.
Avery, Wohlers, Maddox, Glavine,
Yeah.
a whole bunch. Yeah, I got a ton of useless knowledge about sports. Don't even get me started. My
It's
wife's like, "How do you know these? Like, why do you know these things?"
It's that 30-minute
makes no
commute.
sense. Yeah, it's a 30-minute commute where I get to hear "Put Me in a Box" 15 times on loop.
Yeah, that earpiece in your ear. And you're going,
yeah,
They
exactly.
just traded who?
So yeah. So this next song, when I usually what'll happen when you're listening to songs for an album is you'll get like a Dropbox file or you know a group of songs like 20, and you'll listen to all of them and typically hate 20 of them. That's a joke, but apparently not a good one. But no, I always read down the list of titles before I listen to them, and I like titles that jump out at me that I go, oh man, I want to hear that. That's cool. And so I got this list when we were out actually playing Stagecoach last year, 25 songs, one of which was You Look Like I Need a Drink, which thank you guys here
Yep.
for playing for us. And it's good to be back on the radio with new music. It's been too long, and we've missed it. So it's good to be out there and having a successful song again. But the other song on that list that particular day was this next song we're going to play for you. And I heard it, and I go, man, that's either the craziest thing I've ever heard or the coolest thing I've ever heard. And I'm still trying to decipher between which it is. Hopefully it's the coolest. But I kind of touched on the things I listened to, one of which being more rock and stuff, classic rock, southern rock, that kind of stuff. And this is probably the most rocking thing we've ever done. And but it's going to be fun to play live, and everybody seems to dig it. So hopefully you guys do. It's called Between You and Me, and it's super, super rough. So just imagine it with all the studio magic.
There we go. It's not junk.
Thank